Hi students, how are you all? I think you are fine. Today let us study a new topic from microeconomics. Unit 1 Introduction. Central problems of the economy. When we think about central problems of the economy, so first of all we have to think why do this central problem arise? The reasons behind these problems. So as we discussed in our beginning, first part of this discussion, this lesson, I told you that the human wants are unlimited in number, but the resources to satisfy these human wants are limited. So limited resources or limited means and unlimited wants or unlimited needs. So the matter is between unlimited wants and limited means or unlimited wants and limited resources. So how to settle this problem? And moreover, the resource is also having alternative use, means that the resource we can use for many purposes also. That is why this matter is becoming more complex in case of an economy. That is the major reason behind the emergence of central problems in an economy, or due to for the reason of this one, shortage of resource and multiplicity of the uses of the resource or alternate use of the resource is the main problem. So let us analyze what are the major central problems of an economy. In the previous topic I told you that we can categorize the major issues of the country into three, means unlimited wants, second one limited resources, then third one alternate use of resource. So from these are the three major reasons behind the emergence of these issues. Because of this one only we can say this problem or these problems arise in an economy. So let us analyze what are the major central problems. First one, what to produce. Second one, how to produce. Third one, for whom to produce. So once again, what to produce, how to produce, and whom to produce. These are the three major central problems of an economy. Once again, what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. Let us analyze one by one. What is meant by what to produce? What is this how to produce is a matter, and how it for whom to produce is different from the other one. Okay, let us analyze one by one. First of all, what to produce. What to produce, it is the matter of allocation of resources. Allocation of resources towards the production. Means when we produce a commodity or when we are spending any resource for the production of a commodity, we are assuming that we are able to derive maximum satisfaction from the production. Means from the use of the resource, we are able to derive the maximum satisfaction of that, maximum utility. So we know that we are producing goods and services also, and it is not possible to produce all the commodities what is required for a nation. It's not able to produce all. But here also when we are arranging the matter in the order of preferences, what kind of commodity should be produced first, what is second, what is third. Maybe we are making an order of preference in the production also. Means first we are producing necessary goods, then we are producing secondary, moderate and all. After that only we are producing the luxury goods and all. So preference are given or preference should be given for the production of necessary goods in every economy. Is it? So whether it is consumed by the rich people or poor people, we are giving preference for the production of necessary goods in the economy. So these are the major aspects of the production matter. Anyway, when we think about what to produce in detail, I told you it is the allocation of resource. We have to discuss about two aspects of this concept also. First one is that what goods are to be produced. What goods are to be produced means what kind of goods can be produced in the economy. What are the major production areas of goods. Second one, how much of each goods, in what quantity these goods are to be produced. So first one is that the choice of good. What kind of good? We have to choose any one commodity or two goods. Second one, how much? the quantity of the production, is it? So let us analyze the first issue first. What are the goods? What kind of goods can be produced in an economy, or what kind of goods are to be produced in an economy? When we think about the goods, there are two kinds of goods are there in the economy. We can categorize the goods available in the economy into two. First one, consumer goods. Second one, capital goods. Consumer goods and capital goods. So what is meant by consumer good? What is meant by capital? What is the difference between consumer goods and capital goods? So first of all, consumer goods. What is consumer good? What is consumption? Consumption, this concept already we discussed in our statistics first unit. Consumption. And as per the scope of subject matter of economics, consumption, production, exchange and distribution are the four subject matter also in traditional view. Modern view already we discussed in our previous class. Is it? So consumption, in that one, consumption is the usage of commodities to obtain satisfaction, to derive satisfaction. Whenever we need the commodity, we are consuming, when we will buy the product from the market and we will consume that one. From the consumption, a person is able to derive satisfaction. So that process we can call it as consumption. The person we can call him as consumer. So then who is a consumer? A consumer is a person who consumes a commodity to derive satisfaction. So such goods are known as consumer goods. For example, all the goods which are used by a person for different uses, all these goods we can call it as consumer good. For example, food. Yes, consumer good, because after eating we are getting satisfaction, we are able to derive satisfaction. Cloth, when we are wearing clothes, we are getting satisfaction. When we are wearing tie, we are getting satisfaction. And everything in our life, what we are using, mobile phone, so satisfaction. Selfie stick, getting satisfaction. Boards, the teachers are using white boards or black boards. So they are getting satisfaction when they are teaching, and students also getting satisfaction. So when we are using a product and the person is able to derive satisfaction, we can say that that product is a consumer good. Understood? So anything. So the consumption doesn't mean that only consumption of food or drinking of water. Consuming. No. Consumption means consumer is getting satisfaction or not. Clear? Second point is that capital goods. So capital goods are such goods which are used for the production of consumer goods, or those goods are helping in the production of consumer goods. Means machineries, tools, plant, then trucks, vehicles, whatever, all these things we can use for the production or the transportation of consumer goods. So means big things. Simple example you can say machineries. Machineries are capital goods. So, sorry, when we analyze little more in detail, more consumer goods a country is producing, definitely the country will be in a good situation. Sorry, people can enjoy these goods. They can enjoy their life with consuming these consumer goods. But when we are thinking about capital goods only, the nation's development will come. Means that is the development for the future life. So that is why even if the resources are scarce in the economy, unless until the resources remain as it is, we have to utilize the resource in such a way to get maximum satisfaction from both commodities production. So both commodities are essential. Consumer goods as well as the capital goods are essential for the betterment of a country. And but consumer goods increase the quality of life, and the capital goods also, it increases the quality of life. So both goods are sufficient for the betterment of the society. But we have to give preference first. First preference should be given for consumer goods, then we have to give the capital goods, because most of the country people are not average income earned people, so they need more household goods, more consumer goods. But in order to produce a consumer good, we need capital goods, is it? So both goods should be produced, but more of consumer goods and less of capital goods should be produced according to the situation. That according to situation we can adjust. But one thing is very clear, that if we are producing consumer good from our resource, limited resources, and remaining resource we are using for the production of capital goods. Okay, we adjusted the situation without any clash, we adjusted. And whenever we are spending some extra resources which we kept for the production of consumer goods for the production of capital goods, then these capital goods bearing one more special term, opportunity cost. So we have to study this opportunity cost, but this topic is coming in next microeconomics lesson. We will discuss that in detail. But just you try to understand now, it is that opportunity cost, it is the cost for sacrificing. So for example, the resource kept for the production of consumer good, we used for the production of capital good, and we produce now capital good. So the opportunity cost of capital good, it is the cost what we sacrifice from consumer goods. Is it? Suppose if we want to produce more consumer good, we have to reduce the production of capital goods. If we want to produce more capital goods, we have to reduce the production of consumer good. What we reduced, that is opportunity cost of the other one. Understood? What we sacrificed and what we gained here. Sacrificed and gained. This topic we will discuss in detail. One more topic is coming in microeconomics after this one. There we will discuss about opportunity cost in detail. Now for this one, this is enough. Clear? So in such a way, we have to produce both goods, consumer goods as well as capital goods. We have to produce in a country utilizing the resources, because only consumer goods now means life will be enjoyed now, people. But the capital goods we need the capital goods for the future development of the nation. Otherwise, future will be in trouble. Understood? Then this is what we are saying it as the what to produce. Second one is that how much to produce. How much to produce means that means how much is required, that much we have to produce. Means more of consumer goods as I told, and less of capital good, or more of capital good and less of that is not possible. Both should be more privilege should be given for the consumer goods. This is what we are calling it as the what to produce, the matter of what to produce. Understood? Hope you understood something. Second issue is that how to produce. First one, what to produce. Second one, how to produce. What do you mean by how to produce? How to produce is the matter of choice of technique. What to produce is the matter of allocation of resources, while how to produce is the matter of choice of technique. Means what kind of technology can be used for the production of commodities. So decision regarding the technology. So already we decided to produce consumer goods and capital goods. Then we have to think what kind of techniques can be used among the available techniques of production. Yes, two techniques are available. One, labor intensive technique. And two, capital intensive technique. So once again, labor intensive technique and capital intensive techniques are the two available techniques in the economy. So it should be used in a particular combination. Both techniques should be used in a particular combination in order to get maximum result. Let us study about that. First of all, let us define what is meant by labor intensive technique. In short form, we can say labor intensive technique, LIT, labor intensive technique. Capital intensive technique, we can say CIT, capital intensive technique. CIT, LIT and CIT for short form we can use. So first let us analyze what is LIT, labor intensive technique. So labor intensive technique is a technique of production in which more of labor and less of capital is used. So here we are categorizing the technique on the basis of which is used more, either labor or capital. Labor is more, the technique is known as labor intensive. Capital is more, the technique is known as capital intensive. So we can define labor intensive once again. So labor intensive technique is a technique of production in which more of labor and less of capital is used. It means that there is no capital is used. Yes, capital also used. But when we analyze the number of labor force compared with the capital, labor is more. So the technique is known as labor intensive. Clear? Example, almost all the production sectors in India, especially in agriculture, labor intensive technique is used. They are using to plow the field either the tractor or tiller. Or for crushing of that seeds from there, they are using threshers. These are the maximum. Or sickle they are using for harvesting. So these are the limited use of capital intensive techniques or its products. But majority of the other works, arranging the paddy field, then pesticides, spraying pesticides, insecticides, everything is done by the labor force only. So we can say that is a labor intensive technique. The same way handloom industry, that also the people there themselves, they are weaving that one. So that is labor intensive, but handloom is also capital intensive also there. That we'll discuss afterwards. So labor intensive means more of labor is used and less of capital is used. Correct. So means more of labor and less of capital. That is the labor intensive. Then capital intensive technique, second one. It means that more of capital is used and less of labor is used. Just opposite of labor intensive. More of capital and less of labor. Here also we are saying it doesn't mean that only capital is used. Machines are there, but to operate the machine or to supervise the working of the plant, 1 or 2 supervisors will be there. There are also now changes started. Robots, they are controlling the situations, programmed. But also we need 1 or 2 labor force there to coordinate all these things properly. So more of capital and less of labor. Big production unit, everything is managed through the conveyor units, one machine to the other machine. But supervisor should be there to supervise that. Okay. So number of machines are more, labor forces are less. Is it? These are the major difference between labor intensive and capital intensive technique. So big plants and machineries are the best example. So let us discuss what kind of technique is better for our country and what are the advantages of these techniques both. So for a country like India, labor intensive, we can say labor intensive is better. Why? Because labor intensive technique promotes employment opportunities in the country, and that is a solution for the matter of unemployment. Many people will get job. So it's a solution for the matter of unemployment in our country. That's good, because let the people engage in any activity. They are engaged also. That is a matter of earning for their livelihood, and their standard of living also be increased. That is the one side. But at the same side, we are saying capital intensive technique is also good. Why? It will increase the efficiency of the country. It will promote the pace of economic growth of the nation, and it will increase the GDP, gross domestic product of the country. In that regard, capital intensive also better. So what we can decide finally, yes, all countries should choose the technology according to the availability of resources of the nation. Means the available resource should be utilized in such a way to get maximum satisfaction. Then this problem is solved. Is it? So both labor also should be used, both capital also be used. We cannot say only we are using that one, we are not using the other one, we are ignoring the other one. It is not an advisable decision regarding a country. Clear? So simple example, handloom. Handloom, this cotton textile industry, we can use handlooms and power looms. Handloom means the people, they are themselves weaving that one cotton cloth, while power looms means with the help of machines. So that's a mix. Handloom is a labor intensive technique, power loom is called capital intensive technique. Understood now? This is the second matter, how to produce. Clear? Then we are moving to the third aspect, for whom to produce. For whom to produce is the matter of choice among whom. We are producing about is for whom? For the benefits of which category of the society. We know in our society, we can categorize the people into two. Many subdivisions are there. Broadly, we can divide into two, rich and poor. Rich and poor. So, who all are consuming these goods? Yes, we know all are consuming. Salt, rich people also consuming, poor people also consuming. Pen, all are consuming. Sugar, all are consuming. It means that rich people, they are eating more sugar and poor, they are not consuming. Those who are eating more sugar, they will become diabetic. Is it? That's the other thing. Anyways, most of the commodities, all the people, rich and poor, both are using in an equal way or in a proportional way. So that means that the commodity, there is no segregation. These commodities are for the rich and these are for the poor. Few items are there. Luxurious items, we can categorize that. That is only used by the rich people. That we are not discussing now here. So here we are analyzing this commodity. Means even if it is the limited use in the society, who all are consuming that one. So that we can say there are two sections, as I told, rich as well as the poor, and the country has to decide whether we have to utilize this scarce resource for the production of commodities that should be benefited either the rich or the poor. Either we should have to produce the commodities for the benefits of rich people or for the benefits of poor people. What is your decision? Suppose nation is producing salt. Both people will utilize the salt. Nation is producing cloth. All are using clothes. Is it in their levels, quality or the high level people? That commodity should not be used now, produced now. So from the limited resources, the nation has to decide the production of commodities for the benefits of both the community, both group, both social group, rich as well as poor. Is it? So then only we can say country is extending welfare in the society. So social justice, social welfare, everything should be maintained. When the country is deciding, the country decides to produce more goods for the poor people. Those goods the rich people also can use. Necessary goods all are using. Is it? Comfortable goods all are using. Only luxurious items only used by the rich people. So country can decide the matter on behalf of the necessity of the society. That's the matter. And moreover, if the country decides like this, that reduces the inequality in the society also. Because nation supports the poor people. At the same time, let the rich people also get the advantage. Like that, the farmers are cultivating a big cultivation there. In between, they are cultivating vegetables. So means when they are irrigating for the big major cultivation, the small one also will get the advantage. Same like that, if they are producing commodities for the poor people, let the rich people also get the advantage. No problem. Let the rich people also buy the product from the shop and use it. No problem. Our concept is that to maximize social welfare, justice, and to reduce inequality in the society. Clear now? Moreover, when we produce the commodity, one more thing is also we have to analyze. How can we produce the commodity? Yes, not to produce these goods, either it is for the rich or for the poor. We have to utilize factors of production. As I told you in the statistics class, factors of production, there are primary factors as well as secondary factors. What are the primary factors? Primary factors are land, labor, capital and organization or entrepreneurship. Secondary factors means the other factors required for the production of these goods. We know these four factors are not sufficient, but these are the primary factors of production. So along with this primary factor, we require more secondary factors also. Is it? So the combination of these primary and secondary factors, it is the output. Is it? And this produced commodity, also we are selling in the market and it earns income. That income also be distributed among the four factors of production: land, labor, capital and organization or organizer or entrepreneur. He should get the income from the production of the commodity in terms of rent, interest, interest and profit. In order we have to say land should get rent, labor should get wage or salary, capital should get interest, organizer or entrepreneur should get profit. So it should be distributed in such a way to get their consideration, and it should not be in equal way, because we know that among these four factors of production, their shares in the production may not be equal. It is only proportional. We have to distribute the income in a proportional way. Who engaged more, that person should get more. Who engaged less, that person should be getting only less. So accordingly we have to, that is we are calling it as proportional distribution of income towards the factors of production. That we can say it as one more term, remuneration of factors of production. All factors should be remunerated according to their contributions in the production. Means that is a distribution of income. That's a distribution of income earned from the sale of the commodity in the economy. Is it? And there are this distribution also of two types. One is functional distribution and second one personal distribution. Distribution also we can categorize into two: functional distribution and personal distribution. Functional distribution we mean it is a distribution of national product of a country among the society, among the people, among the factors of production. Understood? National product means product of the country should be distributed among the factors of production. While personal distribution, it is a distribution of national income, means a distribution of income among the different groups of the society. So once again, function distribution, it is a distribution of national product, while personal distribution, it is a distribution of national income among the different groups of the society or individuals of the society. These are the three major central problems of the economy. Let us sum up again. What to produce? It is a matter of allocation of resources. And summary is that we have to choose either consumer good or capital good, and how much should be produced. That is the matter relating to what to produce. How to produce? It is the matter of choice of technique. Out of these two techniques, labor intensive or capital intensive, that we have to choose according to the availability of the resources, because both techniques, they have their own advantages as well. And third one is that for whom to produce. Whom to produce is it is the matter of choice, means the goods should be produced for the benefits of rich or for the poor or for both. Is it? And that also we have to study in terms of the distribution and the involvement of factors of production in the production and the remunerations, functional and personal distribution. Hope you understood something from the class. Tomorrow I'll come with a new topic, opportunity cost. So keep watching the previous classes, prepare notes, and try to use this class properly. And if it is good, share with your friends also, and try to subscribe the channel also.